Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury has surprised me a lot. This is my first Gundam series, and so I went into this with an open mind, knowing full well there was probably some things that I wouldn't understand. I also don't really like mecha all that much. There are a few series that I have enjoyed, but I haven't really explored the genre. But even with that, the series has impressed me so far. The first few episodes made it seem like it was going to be a super lighthearted high school Gundam, but then we slowly started to see the seeds for something much larger get planted, which made the series to start to get a lot better. This anime has made me want to start watching other Gundam series to see if I would like them, although I am a little bit worried as I know a lot of these series are slow burns that could be quite boring in the beginning, but it still has me interested to learn about Gundam. There are a lot of good dynamics in this anime that really work, from the solid animation to the great art and the awesome mecha fights. Although there's no real danger in these fights as they are regulated duels, the fights themselves are still pretty cool to watch, and I honestly think that this makes it easier to get into as it gives us a taste of what Gundam is really about without exploring too much, which makes it a lot easier for newer fans to get into this series and Gundam as a whole. I like the way the story has gone so far and the way the characters are developing. There's going to be a lot of craziness that happens later on in the series, I'm sure, but that makes these crucial early episodes all the more important. I wasn't really sure what to expect from Gundam when I clicked on the first episode of this series. I know I wanted to get into it, but I also knew that I wasn't a big mecha fan, but this series has been pretty easy to digest and the story and characters have flowed in a way that makes a whole lot of sense. I can't wait to see where this series goes. Before we continue this video, it would be awesome if you could leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. It would help a lot. I make these videos every single week on so many different anime, manga, and webtoons, so look forward to it. The characters in this series are so far pretty well written. I like most of their personalities, and there's a lot of mystery surrounding a lot of these characters that really gets me interested in them. Sleta is a really interesting MC. Her personality is so different than what I thought it would be. She is this very shy girl who has trouble opening up to people, but is also really nice and just wants to make friends. Oh, she's also an incredible pilot. Miorine is probably the most interesting character in this series. There's really only one more who I find on that same level. Miorine has gotten a lot of development in these episodes so far. We've learned a lot about her and her relationship with her father. She has started to learn to be a little bit nicer to people thanks to the help of Sleta, and she has also started to step up for herself and start doing things that she wants to do instead of what she is told to do. She makes for a super interesting character, and where she goes in the future is anyone's guess. The other character who I find to be really interesting is Sleta's mother. She is an interesting and mysterious character. We don't really know much about her besides what we see in the prequel episode, and from what I can tell, she has way more up her sleeve than what we get to see so far, and that makes her super interesting. The main antagonist of the series so far has also been pretty interesting. His motivations for his actions are as of yet unknown, however, once we learn the truth, I think it'll make him a pretty interesting antagonist, more so than he already is. The rest of the side cast is also awesome. We get to see how all of them interact with each other, and it makes for some really entertaining moments. Their personalities are all pretty different from one another, and yet somehow they can all come together, which works out so well. There is a lot that the series has to offer with its characters. So many of them are just starting their journeys, and some of them have so much mystery behind them. The future of the series relies heavily on how well these characters are handled, but I don't think there will be much of an issue as so far I think the characters have been handled quite well, and seeing them develop even further and seeing their mysteries unfold is going to be a great experience, which I am super excited for. The animation in this series is actually pretty good. The mechs look clean, the movement is nice, and the battles look incredible. They really knew what they were doing with the animation in this anime for sure. I mean seriously, even though the fights are pretty short, all of them look amazing and have incredible animation. These fights are some of the best parts of the series just from a technical perspective. The animation alone carries this series hard, however it isn't the only thing that makes this series good. The artwork is also really nice. The character designs are wacky, but I love that because this is a sci-fi show, so wackiness is a necessity for character designs. But like really, look at the hair of some of these people, like it's freaking weird. But not just the characters, the Gundams look really cool in this series. I imagine the big Gunpla heads really like them as well as they are pretty cool. The music in this series is very solid. It isn't some crazy over the top amazing music, but it's solid and it fits the series really well. The music knows exactly how to get you into a scene. The OP is really good and gets you ready for a new episode. Everything about the music just works really well. It's emotional, action-packed, and everything in between. They really knew how to get the perfect music for this series and make it all fit together nicely into one nice and neat package. Although it's not the best anime music I've ever heard, I do still like it and recommend it for those people who want to listen to some really solid music. Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury is a series that surprised me. I had no expectations going into this series as it was my first Gundam series, but what I can tell you is that this series is good, but it has a few flaws. But overall, I would still say that this series is a great series and is actually a perfect series to get into Gundam with even if you don't like mecha anime all that much like me. I still think this series is a perfect fit, and if you want to check it out for yourself, then I recommend it, and if you're still scared about trying to get into Gundam but not knowing where to start, then this show could be right up your alley as it is super easy to understand.